4 years ago, the elders of First Bible Church looked outside their community in Decatur and had the vision to launch a campus in Madison. The elders took a tithe of the church that wanted to go and launch this campus, and we sent them out as a means to reach Madison, Alabama and the surrounding area with the gospel.
So Sally and I first came to First Bible in 2000 and really began to grow in our spiritual walk. Began to understand more who God was and what Jesus did for us on the cross. And as we continued to grow, it just seemed like there was opportunity to do more.
When I was about 3 and my brothers were not even 1 yet, my family and we lived in Madison, but we found the Decatur campus, which was 45 minutes away. And it was pretty hard for an hour and a half on each Sunday to get to Decatur and then come back home. So we weren't able to do that because my brothers and I were so small, and that was really hard.
When we made that decision to leave First Bible, I remember the conversation I had with Vance Helms, and we'd been talking through it, and I said, man, if y'all could just pick up this church and the people and put it somewhere in Huntsville, Madison, everything would be great. We'd be perfectly happy with that. We love First Bible. And fast forward about 6.5 years from that, Vance gives me a call in January of 2013 and said, guess what we're doing?
When we moved, we looked around a lot for churches in Madison, and then my dad stumbled upon First Bible, and he really, really liked it, and we loved coming. It was a bit of a drive, but it was really worth it. And then we were so excited when they talked about the Madison campus.
5 years ago, we moved from South Carolina down to Alabama, and then we didn't have a church here, so my parents were looking around. We met Mary's parents, and they invited us down to the Madison campus at First Bible, so we tried it out, and then we felt at home there.
So I was in search of a new church. When I got here, it was just a different feel, a different vibe. Other places I didn't feel really welcome, even with people my own age. Nobody really talked to me, even though they knew me for multiple years. But coming here, I felt welcome.
It felt like we were back home where we're supposed to be.
It really did.
It's been so exciting to see, as interconnected as Decatur, Madison, and Huntsville are in this area, how members from either the Decatur campus or the Madison campus have been able to reach out to people through the two campuses we've had.
Missions is always a huge part of First Bible Church, but the opportunity to invest in the mission field, which is 20 miles away, was one that First Bible took seriously. And those original, really all-stars that came to Madison from the very beginning, that was a big sacrifice.
So we were one of the original 80 that volunteered to go start the Madison campus. We were sent out as missionaries from First Bible Church in Decatur to help launch this campus in Madison. And when we first walked into that big sanctuary, we had 80 people who were there on a given Sunday. Over half of those were in kids worship. So we would sit in the sanctuary, in that big sanctuary at James Clement High School, and it felt like no one was there. But now, as we go to worship at James Clement, it's fun to just look around and see all the new faces that have come over the last 4 years. It's exciting. It makes it all worthwhile.
The youth ministry has grown so much that it's bursting at the seams now and is reaching the community even outside Madison. We've got some Huntsville kids that are even coming to youth ministry.
When I left the kids ministry and went to youth group, it was just the Ruvels, the Vaughns. There weren't many people there at all.
We started in what is now called the big room, and then once we got the whole building, we were able to move to the back section, which was fun. It's kind of our own space, but now we don't have enough space there in that room.
I remember one Sunday morning, we did a license plate test where we actually looked at the cars in the parking lot and counted the 47 tags versus the 52 tags, and over time you'd see more and more 47 tags.
Now that we're averaging 240, 250 people on a Sunday, if you consider that 30 people are still there from the original 80, then that's huge growth. That's over 200 people that we've done membership meetings on, that we've seen their children come back. We've learned their names, we've learned their ages. We get to see them every Sunday, and it's just growing the family.
It's been neat to watch these young families come back there and have their first child and watch them start walking and move up. And 4 years now is, the little ones are kind of bigger, so that's been really fun for me.
Now when you go in, there's kids everywhere, and I don't even know all their names.
I've had lots of great opportunities at the Madison campus to reach out to people and to connect with people. There's a lot of exciting things going on in Madison. There's also a lot of difficulties. Being a campus that meets in a school, there are several things that make it difficult to reach out.
So some of the challenges of meeting in a school are, obviously the setting up and tearing down every week. Starts early in the morning, picking up trailers, driving to campus where you meet people to help you unload, and then a church is set up, and then after the church is complete, it has to happen in reverse. You go back, pack everything up, take the trailers back, and it makes for a long day. In terms of doing ministry, it makes it difficult because during the week, those things aren't set up. We can only do things at the school during an allotted time frame. So really presents challenges. The Madison office has helped in that, but we're really looking forward to having our church home.
There's a women's prayer team that meets at our Madison office downtown, and we also have our youth group that's meeting in our Madison office downtown, and they meet on the same nights, and it's a pretty crazy place on Wednesday nights just because of the number of people, and we're starting to outgrow that space.
We're still kind of trapped. We have to be kind of in the same area at times. They're in the middle of the school. If the children are going to the gym, you have to walk past. If anybody's doing anything in the school, there can be some distractions.
Just to take the kids down to the gym, we walk about a mile through lockers and cafeterias just to get them there.
And even though it works so well, I look forward to being able to have our own space where if we can dedicate certain rooms to small groups, we can have a large group meeting area where we can worship and then also spend time in God's Word.
So I think one thing that would benefit Madison campus from having a new building and from a community group standpoint would be on Sunday mornings in our community group. We've got so many different members that are using a go opportunity to set up and still tearing down or setting up music or helping out with the high school or the elementary. I think we've got so many people that are going all around the campus. I think it kind of sometimes it affects our time of gather and growing together.
On Sunday mornings, setting up is always interesting. Definitely takes a toll on you for a while.
When church is over, that's one of the best times to meet people and fellowship, but there's a job to do. You have to pack up and get things packed up, ready to go, and people are waiting to haul trailers, and people are waiting to haul the carts. So sometimes maybe we're not as friendly as we should be in terms of greeting visitors and doing those things in order to make First Bible a welcome place.
It's also difficult not having a building because we don't have that permanent presence that like we have at the Decatur campus throughout the week.
Like, okay, my friends will ask about, like, where do you go to church? Or it'll come up in conversation, and it's like, oh, I go here, to James Clemens High School. And they're like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Doing children's ministry in other people's classrooms in a school setting is a challenge. During the week, this is full of teenagers, and when we come in, sometimes there's interesting things drawn on the chalkboards, and we have to erase those before we can let the toddlers come in. We're walking in and we're putting kindergartners in history classrooms. There's pictures of the atomic bombs. Things that need to be there for a history high school class but aren't as appropriate for a Sunday school classroom.
And then I wonder about how many people would maybe visit, but they're not going to because we meet inside a high school.
We're really blessed to have this spot we do, and we're really grateful that we have a spot to meet in Madison, but it would be cool to have a building because then you could say, I go to that church over there, not the youth group in the landing.
And I look forward to the day when our building is there and it is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a beacon of light in a dark world.
So the opportunity to have a permanent building where people have a sense of security and permanence that comes with that is certainly exciting, and I think something that will provide greater outreach to the Madison community. So I think back on when First Bible was first founded in the 60s and really the leap of faith that those 6 families took in starting that campus.
I'm very thankful for the sacrifices that people in Decatur made so that we can enjoy this Madison campus and use it to further the gospel.
If you've joined First Bible Madison in the last 3 years, there's a large chunk of people that were from Decatur helping us launch that they don't know, they didn't get to see that part. So I'm so thankful for their time, giving of their time and their efforts and input in that.
We're so very thankful for the Decatur campus and everything that they've done to help start off this Madison campus.
Thank you for the sacrifices that you've made that have not gone unnoticed, I promise. It's been an exciting thing just to be a part of it, so thank you.
Even when I was going through my worst, I had the prayer and whatnot. When my stepdad was murdered, I didn't want to come here. But then I got calls, I got prayer, people pulled me aside, talking to me. So that was real to me. So thank you. Thank you for that. So
Give thanks for what God has done in the past 4 years, but also look forward, and I think if God's done this just in the past 4 years, what could He do in the next 4 or 10 or 20 years as we continue to be faithful to the Great Commission, as we continue to be faithful to the Scriptures, and as we continue to reach out both in Decatur and in Madison and to the ends of the earth with the gospel of Jesus Christ.